Welcome to Indie Cove. This is where I talk about indie games I've played to tell you if... Wait a minute. Haven't I already said this? Like, if it's going to be a gem or something else? Never mind. Today I'm going to talk about Until Then, a 2D narrative adventure that takes you into an unforgettable Filipino coming-of-age journey. Let's take this dive into the Cove today. Chapter 1. Cocoon. Until Then's gameplay is not a defining factor for this game at face value. It uses simple side-scrolling mechanics within the narrative set pieces. There are points of interest that your character often has to interact with to cause the game to move forward, making it feel a little point-and-click adjacent. You also get to doom scroll and instant message your crushes and friends in this game, often making dialogue choices in these moments. I did notice that you can like posts, and doing so could actually affect how a character later reacts or talks to you. Even if it's just a simple line, it actually surprised me that such depth of interaction has the chance of altering dialogue. Until Then has several minigames that break up its simplicity and add a sense of humor, urgency, or competition. Some of these minigames are like just dunking skewers for food, which comes unexpectedly, making me feel like the game is engaging with me in a proactive way. Although, I played this game with a controller, and I can tell you're likely better off playing with a mouse and keyboard. I played this on PC, and the two inputs might have been conflicting with each other at critical moments. Navigating the social media and text chats felt clunky with the controller in my experience. Despite this minor hiccup, I was still able to play the game just fine. Until Then is visually stunning, as it fully utilizes the capacity of 2D pixel graphics. The game does this by changing perspective, from its simple side-scrolling gameplay to close-ups and to carefully crafted visual compositions. When I say that this game is a cinematic masterpiece, I fucking mean it. Honestly, the visuals alone make this game a gem. The emotion depicted in each face feels so clear and real. The visuals are so engaging in this game, especially when it takes a step further by implementing depth of field through the use of the environment and character's point of interests. This game's cinematic range is such an experience on its own that you'll feel it when playing. Chapter 2. Larva. Until Then sound design is awesome, as it ties its diegetic sound and non-diegetic sound together in prominent ways. A lot of the game's audio is diegetic, as each environment has a unique sound profile at different times. Like this one person who can't stop yodeling. The sound really makes you feel like you are in an active world, as the sounds of life just continue on. When non-diegetic music is introduced, it usually doesn't feel forced and only adds to the mood or setting. Until Then's sounds are simple yet motivated, such as the texting noises. This is diegetic, whereas the text boxes are non-diegetic, as they aren't actually voices, but more of a signifying sound notifying us when and how to read the dialogue. The text boxes don't pull us out of these intimate moments in the game. They are added in such a way that we consume it as part of the world. In its attempt to be active, it pacifies us to how much sound is actually going on within the game. The sound washes over us, and it blends into one singular experience, rather than two. Chapter 3. Butterfly. Until Then has you play as Mark. Wait, we're actually the alarm clock? Now we're Mark. We embark on this coming-of-age story during his junior year of high school. We also figure out we forgot to do our part at a large presentation and cram that shit in so fast, lying to our crush about having already done it beforehand in the process. Mark plays Dark Souls 3. Sorry, I mean Dark Fiends 3. So he's used to overcoming impossible odds. Mark has two best friends in Kathy and Rydell, but over the course of the year, he begins to grow and his charisma score of 20 creates a huge group of characters and friends to appear. Kath is just someone who loves her friends and being there for them. She is also in love with Louise, your crush. Rydell is a hipster student filmmaker who is getting his directorial break and in the midst of beginning his short film. In an attempt to get closer to Louise, Mark goes to her chess game and becomes friends with Sophia, Louise's best friend. He also learns that she has a boyfriend already, but she takes a moment to talk with Mark about the strange occurrence of rain and false memories she's been having. Also, he third wheels a pizza date with her boyfriend. With Mark's pursuit of love lost, he meets with Kathy to spill the tea. At this moment, they try to get info on the incoming transfer students with minimal progress. It starts to rain, and Kathy walks out into the downpour. She's a pluviophile. She loves being in the rain. You try to grab her at first, but instead grab an umbrella to meet her in the rain. You feel the rain alongside her, and talk about how butterflies get tattered or even die in the rain. This moment is so wholesome, as it really shows just how close Mark and Kathy are to one another. Also, it seems so familiar, like it has happened before. By this point, we learn that Mark has a passion for playing the piano, coming from a specific song that he's struggling to remember how to play that his mother played for him when he was younger. Both of Mark's parents work abroad, leaving Mark alone as they just send him money for the bills and for his general needs. Dark Souls 3. Mark's passion comes from a desire to feel attached to his mother because of the distance they have physically, but also emotionally with how they parted ways when she went to work abroad. Mark's familial isolation has made it so that he has trouble communicating and finding his spark in life. His isolation is often highlighted after highs with friends, truly making the weight of his loneliness crushing. That is until he runs into Nicole, literally. After their dispute is finished, they work together on the art project. Nicole points out that Mark needs to just find his spark, causing him to reflect. At first, this results in him closing himself off for the time being. As he is about to leave, he casually walks into Nicole's room and touches her piano. Not good. This kind of puts a kink in their relationship, and the awkwardness jumps to a 10 when her parents have him stay for dinner as well. That night, the crushing weight of his isolation comes to a head as he feels that he can try to live again rather than let life pass him by. The next day is very important. First, Mark goes to the hospital to meet Sophia's comatose grandma and discuss the odd deja vu with Louise once again. Louise is ready to dismiss the odd occurrences as stress, and I'd understand that until Mark experiences this. When he breaks free from the shifting reality, he speaks to Louise about it, reigniting her scientific pursuit. But the town fair is the same night, so now Mark is experiencing these brain tremors and honestly a representation of panic attacks, and has to go to the town fair. So Kathy, Rydell, and Mark meet at the fair, but between an ill Mark and distracted Rydell, the visual representation of the friends' long-lasting friendship is in peril. This moment pissed me off because I love Kathy. She just wants her friends to be present and to find a moment for them to listen. Rydell leaves Mark and Kathy to spend time with the film crew rather than engage in their annual traditions. He left the ears behind, and dude, that's literally the last time we see Rydell until the ending. He fucking sucks and is so self-absorbed by his own ego and success that he paints as the success of all three of them. Bro literally leaves them behind, and only after almost got ahead of myself there. So Mark walks away from Kathy as well because he's going through it until he sees Nicole. Dude, please don't do it. Kathy needs us. Bruh. So Mark is super shitty too as he ditches Kathy, and she sees him with Nicole. We learn that Nicole is a survivor of the ruling, a series of natural disasters that were viewed as so extreme that they could have nearly ended the world. She's just trying to learn how to live life again. Despite this super sincere moment of vulnerability and a viewpoint of a survivor, I was so mad at Mark because his focus switches to Nicole rather than his best friend. He literally forgets that he and Kathy had plans after the festival as well, and is surprised when she's waiting for him at his house. He lets Kathy hang out, but he is so down bad for Nicole that he isn't listening to Kathy. Eventually, he puts his damn phone away, and the two play their racing game. Kathy talks about feeling like she'd be ahead of everyone, but the conversation is truly about feeling aimless and left behind as her friends grow distant in their pursuit of their goals in life. This moment is so important as it shows how Mark doesn't really listen to his friends, and despite moving forward in his life, there are still crucial aspects that he needs to address to grow. Speaking of moving forward, Mark, to feel closer to his distant mother, joins the piano club in order to sharpen his skills. He makes even more friends. Seriously, he's definitely got a charisma score of 20. He plays the piece he can't seem to remember, and Nicole hears it and crashes out again. Dude, I literally can't. She needs to get over herself. It turns out, though, that this mysterious piece is actually her own original song. Wait. They aren't related, are they? Wait. We aren't her missing best friend, are we? So it turns out that Nicole's song was for her best friend Jake, who went missing when she was younger. It is the primary reason why she has given up on playing the piano professionally, and the reason she feels held back in life. She says she can finally move on after playing, and Mark asks if Nicole could teach him how to play piano properly. Cue a montage showing us how Nicole, Kathy, Mark, and the club get closer together over time. Yada yada. Mark becomes more confident and much more organized as his spark is driving him to self-improvement. He is no longer procrastinating. He doesn't slouch when he walks. It also illustrates how each of Mark's friends have become more of his family than his actual parents. Mark's love for his friends drives him in finding his spark despite its fallacies. Louise and Mark meet up after the montage. This is when we learn more about Louise's theory and that she's ready to give up on it again. But when we mention the odd occurrences in relation to Nicole, it spurs her on again. So Louise gives us the task of seeing if others are experiencing these odd deja vu episodes. Mark spends some time with Kathy and goes to the mall to shop for prom. This sequence shows us the strained relationship that Kath has with her parents. It also represents a growth away from their innocent times as stores and locations they once frequented have been replaced or closed. Kath attempts to find a purpose, a spark, in order to not be left behind as Mark and Rydell grow distant. Although for her to grow, she needs the same amount of support from her friends, which is non-existent as Mark is daydreaming about Nicole, leaving Kath to feel isolated even in the company of her best friend. Despite the distance created, Mark still manages to show that he listens and cares, remembering that Kath is a pluviophile. As the year comes to a close, Mark's isolation is expressed once again, and the pain of it can be felt as his friends are all spending time with their families. This is when Nicole's family comes to kidnap him from his loneliness on Christmas. They let you use the karaoke machine, so it's fine. Mark's big day and moment of self-actualization comes on the day of auditions for the piano club. You can have Kath record a video to send your mom. After ripping a sick Piano Hero minigame, Mark realizes that Nicole lied to him and never signed up for that club. Louise also finds Mark after further developing her theory and basically says that reality fluctuations cause people to cease to exist when it rains. The only way to prevent it is to have someone with them, to not be alone. So now the rain is the bad guy. Sorry. Stopica. Mark talks with Nicole, and her conversation represents denial, as she still hasn't been able to overcome the grief of losing her best friend. She makes an excuse to have you and her go visit her grandparents, but you actually go to Jake's house as she is still searching for any sign of why he left. It also starts to rain, causing Mark to panic as he searches for her in the ruins of the ruling. It's actually fucked up because she makes it this kind of test for him to understand her and how she feels. She gets physical with Mark after he snaps, saying she never tells him anything. She continues to highlight his lack of understanding as she believes he has everything she doesn't, because he has Kath, his best friend. In reality, Nicole is so held back by her past that she is not able to move forward. She had a group of friends in the piano club. She has a friend in Mark, and even Kath, but she is so stuck and blinded, making her lash out at her closest friend when she attempts to open up. She believes herself to be the only person to understand how she feels, when in reality, Mark has had a secret this entire time. Mark crumbles and finally chooses to address his past, the reality that he has suppressed from himself. The truth is that Mark's mother has been dead, having been part of a missing flight. He chose to lie to everyone and even deny her death after time passed. This reveal hits hard, as every attempt at learning the piano has been a way to connect to his mom. The story switches to an intricately crafted viewpoint of the stages of grief. The stages of grief don't necessarily follow a specific order, besides acceptance being the final step. Mark is in denial, at first moving to a depressive state as shown with his lack of work ethic in the beginning of the story. His anger is represented through his dismissive behavior and lack of communication toward his father. His bargaining comes in the form of his performance during the audition, believing that sending a video or even one of the many drafted emails might bring his mom back. Acceptance comes in, well, Kath. He confides in his best friend the truth that has been aching him for so long. Only after his acceptance is he truly able to move forward, to be there for Nicole, and for people to accept him. Until Then's final act comes in full swing as it's the infamous prom. Damn, Mark got a killer outfit. All the characters we know and love, not Rydell, remember, he fucking sucks, makes an appearance. Kath's butterfly goddess outfit, killer. Kath has some important discussions she wants to have with us during the last dance. The night is a blast, and then Nicole shows up, and it's Mark's chance to fix everything. Mark and Nicole share a dance and talk, both showing their acceptance. Oh shit, we got that kiss! Wait, it's starting to rain. Where's Kath? We need to dance. Don't you fucking dare. Don't stop running. Find her, Mark. You can fucking do it. Don't give up. Don't give up. Please, oh my god. She's alive. She's alive. Wait. No! No! Kathy dies. I was so emotionally devastated when this happened. Like, what could I have done differently? But I know there couldn't have been a different outcome because Kath was a butterfly. Her want to be free from her parents left her tattered and drove her to the unfortunate fate that some butterflies succumb to while in rain. At her funeral, you have final conversations with everyone, even Rydell. Mark receives a gift that Kath was going to give to Mark that night from her brother. Time passes and we jump to an older Mark and Nicole moving out together. We get to go through some old items and boxes and stumble onto that gift, which happens to be an indie band Mark liked. But at the end of the track, there is a message left by Kath. Just for Mark. She reveals the reality of her home life, the abuse she suffered, and how Mark and Rydell were her safe place. She mentions how she wants to run, to love to do something. She wanted to live her life, and for you to see the shine in her eyes as she did in Mark's. She correctly predicts what everyone will do in their futures, even though she's absent from them now. When it comes to her, she simply doesn't want to be left behind. Mark finds the racing game they once played together, and he plays one last time, as a way to feel connected to her still. To not leave her behind. The credits roll on Mark's TV, and Until Then is finished. This game's narrative is compelling as it expresses a complex story about loss and love. Each character plays a crucial part as each of them are attempting to navigate a personal growth within this game's narrative framework. Like Kathy and Nicole are equally as important as Mark, as they both influence him but also have their own arcs within the story. Until Then's narrative is truly a journey that feels familiar. Likely because at least one of the many characters have a moment that can be relatable for any individual, allowing us, the players, to become more invested in this masterpiece of an indie title. Chapter 4. Continue? Until Then has you play as Mark. We embark on this coming-of-age story during his junior year of high school. We also figure out we forgot to do our part of a large presentation and cram that shit in just enough time, lying to our crush about having already done it beforehand in the process. But it's with our best friend Kathy, and she is not a pro basketball equivalent typist. So they bomb the presentation, and Louise, wait, why does it feel like I've talked about this already? Whatever. Mark has two best friends in Kathy and Rydell, but over the course of the year he begins to grow and his charisma score of 20 creates a huge group of characters and friends to appear. Kath is just someone who loves her friends and being there for them. She is also in love with Louise, your crush. Rydell is a hipster student filmmaker who has just had his film fail to be funded and picked up by any studio. Hold on, just wait a second. I already did this all, but it's all just a little different? That's right. Until Then's got more video game to be played. So after being hit like a fucking bus by Kathy's death, you can continue. This is like Act 2, and it's similar to the first act, but has differences like Rydell. He's really struggling to make his movies, so he brings Mark and Kathy along for the creative process, even having them both act in it. The vulnerability of the characters causes Mark to open up to Rydell and Kathy about his mom's death, way sooner in the story, causing Nicole and him to develop a different relationship, especially when Kate, who was Jake's sister and Nicole's friend, becomes more prominent. There are many differences, especially when Mark and Nicole learn that they are causing the anomalies that are bending and breaking reality. Act 2 ends with Kathy dying as well as Louise. The game moves into Act 3 as the same day starts to repeat over and over, but both Mark and Nicole are able to retain all their memories from each version of reality they bleed through. This literally causes them to have the experiences of several lifetimes, including the ones where they get married. So they know they are in it together, no matter what. We see a lot more of Nicole's regret stemming from Kate as she failed to be there for her or even cause her death due to her obsession with finding Jake. Mark and Nicole tear realities to the point of a complete quantum fracture, which is the stage in which they must learn to forgive. As I said, Until Then is about the stages of grief, and in the final act, it isn't just about acceptance, but forgiveness. Only when Nicole and Mark are able to step beyond the stage of acceptance and learn to forgive themselves for their past are they able to live their normal teenage lives and to grow into the best adults they can be. These versions of themselves are the only ones capable of saving Kathy and Kate. Once Mark and Nicole move to the stage of forgiveness, the world reforms itself. Mark and Rydell save Kathy, and Nicole has the confidence to confront Kate, leading her to be a present friend. The two characters are able to truly grow up, but in these lives they aren't together. At least not yet. Kath is alive in this version of their lives, so I'm completely fine with Nicole and Mark just passing by each other as strangers. Until Then is a gem. Its narrative is truly a unique coming-of-age experience as it tackles the dense nature of learning how to forgive oneself, how to move through regret and move forward through life while still loving and honoring those that have passed. To let our emotions such as love and happiness not feel undeserved because of such guilt. The act of forgiving oneself can be a difficult task, but the outcome is always worth that struggle. To overcome such adversity allows us to grow into our fullest versions of ourselves, the best versions of ourselves, the one we can learn to love. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. It might sound familiar, but subscribe to see more Indie Cove and other content by yours truly. If you have any suggestions for games I should check out, leave a comment. I'll catch you all next time.